Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. This week we're talking about Jake's recommendation for me, the 2013 independent comedy film Wrong Cops, written and directed by Quentin Dupieux. And my recommendation for Jake was the 2023, I guess technically a mockumentary style film, Theater Camp. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Venom 3. I'm going to try to convince Jake to watch Star Wars. And we're going to talk a little bit about the PlayStation State of Play. Jake, anything to add?
Why?
Why
do you want to convince me?
Because it's going to be fun. Hold on, let's play the song first. After the fiasco that was last week's intro, I was waiting to see if you were going to make that a running bit, and I'm kind of happy that you didn't.
I know how to do jokes, man.
Yeah?
I don't roll them into the ground.
It's rule of threes, man. I thought you were going to keep coming snappy with it.
There's also the element of surprise.
Oh, you got me on that one. All right, well, that's Jake on that side. My name's Taylor Egger. Welcome, everybody, to Up Your Alley. Like we said before, we do this every week. We're best friends. We recommend things to each other like all friends do, but now we get the chance to force the other person to watch, read, or listen to our recommendations. Like I mentioned, this week, I recommended Jake the 2023 film Theater Camp, and Jake recommended me the 2013 film Wrong Cops. Double comedies this week.
A comedy double feature.
Yeah, it's fun, and they are very, very different comedies, so that's going to be fun to get into. But first, how you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm good.
Things are
You
good.
know, I go to work, and when I walk in the hallway, my boss's office is the first thing, so I stop in there, and he can hear me coming because my badge and stuff is really loud.
Jangly.
So before I even enter the door, he's like, "Hi, Jake." And then, so now all I do is I just say, "I want to scare you one day. I want to surprise you." And every day I make sure I'm loud and showing up. He's like, "You're not going to scare me today, huh?" I was like, "Oh, it could be tomorrow.
You're going to kill that.
Could be a month.
You're going to kill that, man.
Could be your birthday. We don't know yet. But you're going to get scared." So now my thing with him is reminding him, "You're going to get scared one day, bud."
Yeah. I went to the dump on Monday. We're recording this on Wednesday the 5th, in case that's accurate for anybody else. Some people were like, "Hey, there was some stuff in the news that you didn't talk about." And I'm like, "Hey, well, we recorded it."
That boy went to the dump the same day I did.
You went to the dump that day?
No, I don't go to the dump anymore.
So I got into a little bit of thing, because at our dump you have to show your ID that you're a county resident to use the dump.
Yes.
And you know me, I'm a stickler for rules, and I get it. But then I'm such a hypocrite that I hate when other people make me follow the rules. So I have the truck loaded up with trash. I'm going to take it to the dump, get all the way to the dump, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't have my wallet with me." I'm like, that's not going to be a problem.
No.
So I go up, and the guy's right there, and I was like, "Hey, I'm here every week." You know me. I was like, "I just got to drop off this trash. He's like, can't let you in." And I was like, "God damn it, I respect."
Yeah.
Like, there's
it's not him, that's the problem.
I know, but I felt that initial urge to, like, just, I guess you reach a certain age where, like, there's the youthful, like, "What are you talking about? This is such bullshit. I can do whatever I want." And then there's the old age version of it where it's just like, "Don't you know who I am? Screw you and your job. I'm going to do whatever I want." But I'm in this, like, weirdly conformist sweet spot where I'm like, good, sir. I will drive this truckload of trash all the way back home.
Let me speak to your manager. This guy's doing a good job.
That'd be a fun turn. It's like, just be like, that's a hilarious idea. Like, "Can I speak with your manager?" "Hey, he's doing great."
Yeah, he's doing his job really well.
I'm a dickhead. And the one rule that you have, you know how the one rule is bring your ID? I didn't do that. And he did the right thing.
Yeah.
And then
I want to say he stick to his guns, which means he's doing his job really well.
Yeah. He's gold star dumpman. Like,
I got do you know who I am when I was working at Wawa? A guy
was it the president of Wawa?
It was a nobody. It's the
Jesus
best part.
Christ.
He comes up with a coffee, and I'm like ringing it in. He's like, "It's free today, right?" Ha 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 ha. And then I was pushing the button, and I was like, "Actually, it says it's $80." And I thought it was like, this is just a silly little joke to have. And he goes, "Do you know who you're talking to?"
Was he doing a bit back, or did he?
No. He was like, "I make 6 figures. You cannot expect me." And I was like, "It's just a joke, bud."
You know what's funny about the people that say I make 6 figures? They make like $101,000.
It doesn't matter to me.
I know.
Make 6 figures. But
you can't do a bit and then you get a bit back and then you just jump to do you know who I am?
Yeah.
That's a dickhead.
That guy was in trouble. That guy was in trouble all the time because he would he'll order a small sandwich, be like, "Can I get a large sandwich?" And you're like, "Did you buy a large sandwich?" And you get mad again. You're like, this guy is not fun.
The one bummer is, I will say this about the Dumpman. When I came back with my driver's license, I was expecting a little like, "Hey, sorry to make you have to do that, but rules are rules." And I'd be like, no, you're doing a great job. No idea who I was. Just another truck. Just showed my ID. He's like, yeah, go on through. Perfect. And I was just like, come on, man.
That's my favorite thing.
Nothing?
When I go through a drive-through and somebody's just holding his hand out for my card and I give it to him and then he takes it and he hands me my food. No words.
Yeah.
Just me and him doing that. And I go, thank you. And I drive away. And I go, that guy did his job really well.
I love it when
I got what I wanted and I'm fine. If they go above and beyond by just saying, how's it going? That to me is 5 stars.
I'll take I think the bare minimum is a hey man. Like,
no,
hey,
and an acknowledgement.
Hey man, $7.50.
Yeah.
You're like, here you go.
An acknowledgement is fine, but that's 5 stars to me.
Yeah.
If you're just doing your job, I'm fine. I'll walk away with 4 stars, being like, they did not impede my day.
Right.
And that's great.
Do you do the Google rewards? So I've completely given up on privacy online. So I've started leaving positive reviews for people on Google, and then Google's like, hey, this guy's reviewing stuff. And they keep asking you questions, and then you sign up for Google rewards, and after you search for something, you'd be like, hey, which way does it, like, I was searching for, I forget what I was searching for, but it was just like carpet cleaners or something like that, or I was cleaning off something on the deck. I needed like a certain kind of thing that kills mildew on decks, and then Google will ask you, which one of these search results looks the best to you, and it makes you feel important. And then Google's like, hey, here's 25 cents, and I'm like, nice. So I want to leave like radical positive reviews.
Google doesn't have enough people working for them to make this a better search engine.
Well, they just say, what do you prefer? And
for a quarter?
And then after you get $2, they put it in your Patreon account. Or not Patreon, but your PayPal account.
Do you get health benefits now that you work with them? You understand you're getting paid less than minimum wage.
Except my worry is I think it's a 1099 position, so I'm going to have to file taxes at the end of the year for the $8 that Google's given me. Write it off as a business expense.
My gosh.
God, speaking of writing things off, Sony Pictures has been they keep making Spider-Man movies, and they recently released a trailer for Venom 3.
They mostly make Spider-Man movies, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only thing they really got as far as superheroes go. So, Morbius bombed horribly.
Did not watch it.
Yeah, it bombed horribly, and then they got tricked by the internet to re-releasing it. So
that's the most out-of-touch thing that I have seen ever.
Which is hilarious.
Where everybody's having a great time being like, it's Morbin time. And then the studio execs being like, this is time. Strike while the iron's hot. Let's get it back in the theaters.
Put it back out there.
They see it again, that it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
They don't understand what's happening.
But earlier this year, they released Madam Web, which you and I both had fun with.
Yep.
And it wasn't a great movie, but it was fine.
I was happy to see it.
Yeah. And
best death scene I've seen in a while.
Which one?
In the ambulance.
Oh, when the ambulance blows up?
Shoo Bubby. It gets hit by a truck.
That's right.
The comedic timing on that is nothing but immaculate.
I need to rewatch that movie. It's on Netflix now.
I just want to watch that scene over and over again.
Yeah.
It is so good.
But they just released the trailer for Venom 3, The Last Dance.
That's not what it's called.
Yeah, it is.
The Last Dance?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no. That can't be.
That's the subtitle.
That's wild.
3. Yeah, The Last Dance.
Save The Last Dance.
No, just The Last Dance. They're not saving it. They're letting you see it.
If I have to open up a folder that's called Last Dance, Save the, or Venom.
You go Venom. There's also
the folder that says Last Dance.
There's also the documentary about the Chicago Bulls. It was called The Last Dance, too.
The Bulls got to be in there, too.
Yeah. So, I think it looks fun. I think it's
the trailer did nothing to sell me on the movie, except what I would say.
It did your favorite thing, which is play a slowed down version of a song.
Yeah, oh, thank God.
Thank God they're still doing that.
Space Oddity needs to go super duper slow, doesn't it? It's already an 8-minute long song.
Yeah.
That's somber as hell.
Yeah.
But no, we got to make it sadder.
But
fine.
I think the weird thing is I'm excited about this movie. I think Tom Hardy's great. Mm-hmm. I really love how they are. I think it was also in the Sony whatever the plaything, they had the Marvel Rivals trailer, that Marvel 4v4 like game that's coming out where it's like Overwatch but you're Doctor Strange and shit.
A hero shooter but with Marvel characters.
And it's Venom's in that too, and it just made me realize like the Spider-Man 2 game, Spider-Man 3 the movie, and then this new Marvel thing. Out of all those, I think the Tom Hardy movies are the best characterization of Venom because it really plays it off as like a buddy cop thing instead of the Venom just being it's a symbiote, not a parasite.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just make you evil; it kind of plays off of whoever it's attached to. And I really like the Tom Hardy movies. I think it's great. I think it's weirdly,
I enjoyed both of them, and like I said, the trailer did nothing for me. But I'm gonna be seeing the third one,
and then
because the first two were very enjoyable.
Did you see the press release? They also have Craven the Hunter coming out this year.
I'm not going to watch that.
There you are. I'm going to take you to it.
I have no interest in that.
They had a press release out that they postponed it towards Christmas time.
Always a good sign.
Because they say that it's going to be a movie people are going to want to see multiple times. So during the Christmas holidays, people will be able to see Craven the Hunter.
No.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
That was a real, thumb on the pulse of what the internet beat is from Sony.
Godzilla -1 is on streaming now, so everybody should do that.
It is on Netflix. It's very good.
That was a movie I saw multiple times in theaters. Yeah. That's a multiple time in theaters movie.
I only saw it once, but I booted it back up on Netflix when I was just doing some work, and I was just like, oh no, I can't have this on while I'm doing work because I just want to sit.
Yeah.
I was watching
it. Got me good.
I was watching it dubbed. The dub's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know you're a sub guy. We've had this argument plenty of times.
Yeah, they do a good job. I don't know where that voice came from, but I'm happy about it.
It came from your soul. That'd be you dubbing. That's your Godzilla voice if you were doing the dub.
Hi guys, it's Jake.
But I think since it wasn't dubbed in theaters, I don't know when they did the dub for that. But I think they're like, hey, this is a really good movie. Let's actually hire some good voice actors to do the dub and
Chris
do
Pratt?
the dub really well. Yeah, it's Chris Pratt again. He's just doing the Garfield Mario voice.
He's Garfield. He's Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, exactly. But,
perfect, Chris.
Nailed it. That's Godzilla. Now, what if you were just sad that you were lasering people? But yeah, Sony, I think they know what they're doing. They do have, I mentioned
I don't
to you.
think they know what they're doing.
I pulled up
They made Craven the Hunter as a standalone movie.
But they didn't make El Muerto, which is what I wanted to tell you about.
Is this a Marvel thing?
El Muerto was in, I think, 2 issues of comics. But
it's sounding like Red Tornado to me, if you remember him. Red Tornado was a Hispanic superhero that was killed off screen in comic books, which means he was just in a panel in a comic book where they're like, Red Tornado has died.
El Muerto's actual name in the comics is Juan Carlos Sanchez, and he has a mask that makes him super powerful. He's like a luchador guy.
Okay.
And at one point it was going to be played by Bad Bunny because they asked Bad Bunny, what do you want to do? And he said, El Muerto.
Okay.
And Sony, for some reason, was like, you know what, maybe we should pass on that. But they're still making Craven the Hunter and Madam Web.
El Muerto sounds more interesting. I like the idea of a luchador mask that gives you superpowers.
Yeah, but I mean,
That sounds fun. Yeah.
It's just weird that what's a bridge too far for that company. They're like, no, Madam Web's going to crush. And we're going to make it weird, and it's going to be crazily 80 yards, so none of it makes any sense.
Craven the Hunter is just a really weird character. Yeah, Madam Web was a really weird character they choose to make a whole movie about, too.
But for some reason, El Muerto, they're like, no, that's not going to work. But you thought the rest of this stuff would.
Craven, man. It's just... I never thought he was that great of a supervillain to begin with. Get Craven is really fun.
I've got Get Craven over there.
Yes.
That was, if you haven't read Get Craven, it's a... I think it's 6-issue limited series.
I read it as a volume, yeah.
Where Craven goes to Hollywood and just tries to be... It's Get Shorty, but it's Craven.
And it's fun. It's fun more than anything
dark.
Else. Yeah.
But it's really great.
Yeah.
And like Vulture's there, and Vulture's an old man trying to get in the movies too.
So,
but if you had made that movie, I would have watched that.
Exactly.
Kind of weird that they're just doing Aaron Taylor Johnson as a hunter that likes animals.
I don't know.
Based on the trailer.
It.
Yeah. Speaking of things you don't understand, I've watched the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
You did not?
No.
Because you hate Star Wars. And you hate streaming TV shows, and you think things that were movies that are now TV shows are not good.
I just think that it's probably not worth my time. I'd rather sit down and watch a streamer for another 8 hours, play Balatro.
You took the wind out of my sails there because I was going to try to sell you on it. And when your opening argument was, it's not worth my time, I was like, huh. Yeah, if that's where he's coming from, I can't really make an argument that it is worth his time.
My thing is, if I'm going to watch a Star Wars, it's probably going to be Andor, because everybody tells me you're going to like it just because it's a really good story.
The middle 3 episodes of Andor will knock your dick in the dirt. They're so good. With Andy Serkis.
Knock my dick in the dirt?
Yeah.
My dick is already in the dirt and then you knock it? Or it's...
No. Your dick's not in the dirt.
It's taken off of my body and then I find it later in the dirt.
No. It's still attached to you. Your whole body's in the dirt. It's just your dick's hitting first.
I'm falling face first.
Yeah, you want dick first.
Okay.
You don't have to get so fucking analytical about the things I say. Regardless, I really liked it. It's set in the High Republic era. There's a little opening. It's the same. It's kind of disconcerting. It's the same font as the A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, but it's the length of a scroll, but it doesn't scroll. It's just like a weird block text. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. And it's
disconcerting.
Well, it's just like that.
What is the High Republic?
Okay, so it's 100 years before the prequels.
Okay.
So there's no Skywalkers. There's no Emperor.
Old
it's the
Republic.
No, it's the High Republic. The Old Republic's before the High Republic.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. I think it's great. Carrie-Anne Moss is in it. They have some great, what seems like...
She's cool. Yeah.
It seems like there's... they do force battles, and it seems like wire work. It doesn't seem like it's done on the volume or CGI. It seems like it's actually kind of... Well, Carrie-Anne Moss is there, which makes it look kind of Matrixy, and it's supposed to look kind of Matrixy. And it's just nice to see a new era. But what I did learn about this is there's a great YouTube channel, Star Wars Explained, he's just a super dork, and he does everything for Star Wars. He does like a monthly thing that updates you on all the novels that have come out, the comic books, anything that's Star Wars official canon, he does an update for you. And there's so much that I've missed that Star Wars has just a franchise that I kept up with for, I would say, 30 years of my life.
You had the books and stuff.
Yeah, but the new stuff that's canon, I have the books right over there.
That's what I'm saying. As I remember growing up with you and you having these Star Wars books.
Yeah, I was talking about fucking Admiral Thrawn before people knew what he was.
Yeah.
But this new stuff that's canon now, like they're showing like Jedi Masters, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool character design. And then, the Star Wars Explained guy on YouTube is like, and you remember her from this novel, and she did this. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm way behind on Star Wars.
That was too much.
Which is kind of a bummer, but this is fun. It's like a little murder mystery, and it's kind of a weird... The Jedi are like... It's a weird cop drama where they're like, hey, someone's going around killing Jedi. Who's doing this?
You know what's up my alley?
What's that?
That's coming out this year that... on my birthday, no less, that is also extremely convoluted and very long. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is making a live-action movie.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah, that comes out on Prime.
That's dope.
On my birthday.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
So...
Or it might be a show, but it's live action, that's all I know.
So that's, like... I thought that was like an anthology series, like where it's not like the same characters and stuff.
No, it's always Kazuma until the last 2 games, then it was Ichiban and Kazuma.
Huh.
Yeah. And all I saw was the back, the promotion picture.
Yeah.
And it's Kazuma with his dragon tattoo. So it looks like it's going to follow the Yakuza from the first game.
Yeah.
The first game story. And that's... if they have the potential to make a fantastic thing right here. I'm very excited.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yes.
See if that breaks your thing of not wanting to watch things that were based on
adapted
video
from
games.
Video games that I love.
Love that franchise.
Yes.
Down that same path the other day, there's the actor Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yes.
Is rumored to be in the Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, I heard.
Movie, which I would assume he's playing the uncle.
I don't know. Yeah.
Lord Shimura, I think was his name.
Yeah.
The main character's uncle. And I was like, oh, if that's the case, like, yeah, it's spot on.
Yeah.
Like, he's
a good actor, so he's going to do a good job.
And he was Scorpion, too. So he's used to playing the video game stuff.
He wasn't Scorpion.
Yeah,
it was that other guy.
No.
No, it was that other guy.
In New Scorpion.
Yeah, New Scorpion was that other guy.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Was it Hiroyuki Sanada?
Yeah. I think so.
You might be right.
I believe it is. Otherwise, that might come off bad.
I don't know.
Yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada, Scorpion.
That's great.
In the new Mortal Kombat. He's in Shogun, too.
They're still making that new Mortal Kombat movie, I hope.
Good. Yeah, it should work.
I would love that.
I think you'd like The Acolyte. It has the guy from Squid Game, whose name I forget.
I'm sure it's fine.
I mean, if you want to...
But it's just, like... I think of it like if you're like a pie guy and I'm a cake guy, and you're like, this is the best pie I've ever had. And I'm like, I'm sure it's great pie, and I'm sure I'd like it, but I just don't go out of my way to find a pie when there's a cake
Pie's
that I
not
could
worth
be
your
doing.
time. Yeah.
Even though I'm a pie guy, I should have switched it around. I'd rather have a pie.
Oh, I'm a pie guy myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't looking forward to it, then it's just,
Right.
it's not something I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
It's very possible that I could like it. It's just something that I'm like, I'm really happy that other people like it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think Star Wars is bad. It's just not interesting to
And
me.
you said there's a YouTuber in the show?
Oh, yes. Philosophy Tube. Her name's Abigail Thorne.
Yeah.
She's the only reason I know about Acolyte.
Huh.
Because I follow her and her YouTube channel. She does a really good job. I find her very informative and fun.
Oh, yeah.
And she says that she plays somebody on
Nice.
Acolyte. And she says, this is the best Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going, you're saying that because you're in it.
Yeah, I can't get you to watch much TV. But have you...
Unless you suggest it.
Well, I tried that. Have you been keeping up with The GOAT?
Isn't it weird that Scavenger's Reign is off of Hulu and on to Netflix now? Or is it on Hulu and Netflix now?
Well, it was on Max first.
Yes, it was on Max.
So
right.
Max stuff weirdly gets shipped to Netflix for some reason after the original content, because some of that stuff goes over there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird distribution deal with Warner Brothers
It
Discovery.
sounds like they might not be getting a second season of that.
If Netflix will throw a second season at them.
If they do, that's great.
Yeah.
That might be something I watch because that show was very cool.
That was one of your best recommendations.
Yes,
Like
I
as
would-
far as TV shows go.
I look really. I mean, like, I'm fine if it's just a one season type thing.
I mean,
And
it's...
I don't know how I feel about a second season.
Yeah.
What it could do, but it's worth a watch of a couple episodes.
That's another show, like just that world. I would like to see. That could be an anthology series where every season's just something different in that universe, where everything's
Other
just
scavengers.
where everything's just a weird, horrible planet, and everything's trying to kill you, and birds look like Pyramid Head and shit like that.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, but have you been keeping up with The GOAT since I recommended it to you?
No,
Still going?
I'm not gonna watch that. And it's funny because remember I offered, I recommended you Where in Hell, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He had a new video up talking about the reality show, some reality shows that were on. And he started talking about how, because he does philosophical things, but he also covers stupid reality TV shows.
Yeah.
And he's like, during that video, he's like, I think I'm going to stop watching them because it just kind of gets you coming and going with these things. Because there's people that watch it because they legitimately enjoy it. And there's people that watch it because they legitimately like making fun of it. And that's the brilliance of reality TV, is that they lead into being that type of content where both sides of the coin can sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that's kind of like not the person that I want to be. That kind of makes me feel jaded.
Yeah.
Because I want to not like it instead of just not have it affect me at all. So I don't watch reality television.
Reza got kicked out last week.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy from Shaw's of Sunset.
Oh.
Voted out. It's quite the coup.
Good luck out there.
I thought we could do weekly GOAT recaps.
Because these people are,
and you just
they're
poo-pooed that
professional
show.
reality TV stars. That's their job.
Yeah.
That's the most uninteresting thing I've ever heard.
But watching it happen for some reason intrigues me like no other.
Not for me, man.
I'm gonna cut in a weekly GOAT recap because I know I'm not the only person.
I'm sure you're not. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Except, oh god, it's tomorrow. It's gonna be some editing on my part before this goes out on Friday.
Where are you going to put it? Where are you gonna...
Right here. So either you heard Jake burp, or I've edited in a recap of what happened on the June 6th episode of The GOAT.
So you keep it up with the GOAT.
Yeah, I watch it every week.
Tosh,
He's great. His podcast is great. He's one of my favorite content creators out there right now.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, it's stuff for you. You love Daniel Tosh a whole bunch.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the GOAT. I hope he gives the thing to himself at the end. Like, he
money?
just crowns himself the GOAT. Oh, he's making more money than they're making. If you win the thing, you're not making as much money as Daniel Tosh got
Yeah.
paid to do it, for sure. Yeah.
No.
Hey, everybody. Just Taylor here. I'm breaking in, as promised, to give you a recap of what happened this week on The GOAT. So we're down to 7 people Two of my favorite people are still in, Joe from The Bachelor and CJ from F-Boy Island. So they're the ones I'm really pulling for now. Tosh comes in. He completely switches up the format, and it's just a big deal. Like, instead of having two teams and one team gets immunity, it's a full-on 7-on-7 challenge, and only one person gets immunity. And then turns out Joe gets the immunity. Love Joe. It's this weird kind of challenge where you have to hit a buzzer at exactly 60 seconds, which sounds easy, but it's difficult for some people. I was shocked by how many people were off there going like 45 seconds. I'd like to think I'd be good at that challenge. And Joe gets immunity regardless, but then he gets to pick one person up for elimination. It's Wendell. Wendell's been gunning for him the past couple weeks. Wendell tried to get him eliminated last week. Wendell's from Survivor, and he talks about being on Survivor a lot, like it's like the cool thing to be from, but I don't really give a shit. So I'm happy to see Wendell up for immunity. The next challenge, the next day, turns out Tosh is back, killing it. Quick twist, if Wendell wins the challenge the next day, then he is not on the block to get voted out of the house, and he gets to pick who takes his place. Now, earlier that morning, Jill from The Real Housewives, she sucks. Like, she's just a bad person. I'm sure she's a nice person. That was mean to say. But I don't like the whole Housewives vibe. Again, I'm not really well versed in reality television, so this is all it's all on vibes. So Jill has back spasms. She doesn't think she's going to make it to the elimination, and if she doesn't make it to the elimination challenge, then Wendell, she automatically gets last place. So Wendell has a better chance of getting off the chopping block. I don't know if I'm explaining this right. It might not make any sense. This isn't really for anybody. I don't know why Jake doesn't like this show. If you listen to the GOAT episode, he really, really didn't like it. I don't think he gave it enough of a shake. Because I think reality TV show, it dawned on me, Jake loves wrestling, and this is just wrestling dolled up in a different way. Like, it's all... I don't know if you can hear that. The dog's drinking water. I can hear it in my headphones. Yeah, you can probably definitely hear that. Anyway, so it's just wrestling in a different way. It's all kayfabe. It's all like planned out, and it's fun. It's entertaining. It's not going to benefit your life in any way, shape, or form, but it's definitely entertaining. So, Wendell is going up for elimination against Jill. Jill comes in last place, goes down to the votes. Wendell gets voted out. Super happy to see that. I'm still pulling for Joe. I would really like Joe to win. Joe's my favorite, and... yeah, so I'm dropping it. I said I would do this, and I don't think Jake listens to this show, so he's not going to know if I actually did this or not, but I did, and now that's our little secret. So let's get back to the rest of the show. All right, well, let's get into our recommendations for this week. I want to talk about your recommendation first.
Okay.
2013 film Wrong Cops, written and directed by Quentin Dupieux. Quite the cast in this.
Hell yeah.
Eric Wareheim, Mark Burnham is the, I guess, kind of the lead character.
Well, it's the most wrong cop, I guess.
Yeah, it's well, talk about it, why you recommended it to me as opposed to other ones of this film, because you mentioned some other stuff that Quentin Dupieux, his films, but you picked this one.
Yeah, I picked this one.
And you said last week when you recommended it that you were stretching.
Well, I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to push it again. I've been getting in my weird mood. I've been wanting to do my weird stuff some more.
Oh, you're doing it.
And I thought... so, like, the first three movies that I remember watching of Quentin Dupieux is, I believe, the first three films that he made, maybe, which is Rubber, which is the murdering tire, which I think was too far out there a concept for you to enjoy, even though it's a movie about how stupid it is that there's a murdering tire.
Right.
Like, the goal of the movie is to try to kill the audience so they can stop making the movie. Very fun. Very funny. I enjoyed it a whole bunch. And then Wrong comes out. And Wrong is an actual story. A man loses his dog and tries to find it. He has a cameo in this movie. He's the guy who's walking his dog by the station wagon when the dude's dying in the back of it. And he just like takes a peek in and he just keeps walking.
Oh, that's the guy
That's the star from Wrong.
Oh, because I noticed in this movie, people were watching a movie and they were watching Rubber.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're all like kind of weirdly connected like that?
A little bit. Just kind of like self-referential.
Oh.
But Wrong is also kind of out there where you just have to suspend your disbelief on a lot of stuff to get stuff. Like, you can be clairvoyant with dog shit. There's a guy who does that.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was just a bridge too far for you. And then Wrong Cops is probably his most grounded of movies because it's just about bad people doing a bad job, and it's very funny. So this is where I was like, now we're kind of connecting here, where our sense of humor that we both enjoy, that we both have, kind of intersects with the weirdness that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the one. If I want you to get into a Quentin Dupieux to see what he does, this is the one that you should watch. So I was like, this is the one, because I haven't seen Smoking Causes Coughing yet, and I want to see that.
Is that a new one?
Yeah, it looks like a superhero movie in France.
Smoking Causes... No, that was 2022 was that one.
Yeah.
So he has other movies, Keep an Eye Out, Deerskin, Mandibles, Incredible But True, Smoking Causes Coffee, Dali, and Yannick.
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
Yannick is his newest one, I believe.
Yeah, he's got quite the resume here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I liked... This was weird.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. My
a-
favorite thing is, like, at the beginning, you kind of pick up how weird it is because
A guy's selling rats filled with weed?
yes. He's like, it's conspicuous. Nobody knows what it is.
Right.
Nobody's going to ask questions.
So there were a lot of people in this that I liked from the jump. Like Eric Wareheim obviously is great. Steve Little is in this.
Steve Little does a fantastic job, I'd have to
who
say.
I think is best well known as from
Stevie in Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. Yeah, I was trying to think of his character name, but it is Stevie too. But who else? John LaJoie is in this. I love John LaJoie.
I was excited for you to see him.
At one point, John LaJoie walks up in his video in his outfit from his YouTube video when he's singing he has a YouTube song called Show Me Your Genitals.
Yeah.
And he's just wearing that outfit from that YouTube video.
Wow.
And I was just like, huh, that's weird. But then he's also playing a cop later. And Marilyn Manson's in this.
Yes.
Which I kept... Okay, so Marilyn Manson, scandals noted because apparently he's a garbage person.
He is a garbage human being.
Yes.
He does a really good acting job in this movie.
I kept thinking he was Nick Swardson.
Yes.
Because he's
he
essentially
looks
playing...
so much like Nick.
He was essentially playing Nick Swardson's character from Reno 911.
Basically, a very shy and timid guy.
Right.
And Nick Swardson would have been a shoo-in for that role as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Weird it was Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple other people that you would just like. Kurt Fuller plays a music producer. He's just another one of the it's that guy.
Yeah.
Like I remember him from stuff. Ray Wise is the captain.
Yes, he's great.
So a lot of good actors. For some reason, and it's a whole bunch of like mini vignettes that kind of all tie up at the end.
Yeah.
But
It all revolves around cops who are
just bad cops.
just bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just didn't really ever click for me. Like
Yeah.
parts of it, I'm like, that's kind of funny. And it was kind of like, did you ever? So Monty Python did a thing called "And Now for Something Completely Different."
Yeah, I love that movie.
Right, where it's a movie kind of, but really
Yeah.
it's just sketches that are kind of stitched together.
Uh-huh.
Which is the Tim and Eric movie was kind of like that. And
$1 billion film.
yeah, and this is kind of like if the comedy is a comedy style that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Tim and Eric stuff. It's a little bit. I think you should leave. Just like the
Irreverent and awkward.
right. The cop selling rats filled with weed because it's less conspicuous, and all you have to do is rip open the rats.
Yeah.
that could be a Tim Robinson sketch.
Yeah.
like
That
but
could be a Tim and Eric sketch for sure.
Yeah, but that style
And
of humor.
The switch is he runs out of rats to hide the weed in, so the guy's trying to get him to hide it in fish.
Right.
And he's like, I can't hide it in fish. People are going to know something's up.
Right. But it just it's on our rating scale of 1 to 3.
Uh-huh.
It's a 2 for me.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but it's not like it crossed the line a little bit too far. Long time ago, you recommended Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yes, that show was great.
Amazing, and that towed the line of being silly. In that it's not really absurdist comedy. It's sort of it's borderline anti-comedy,
Well,
where,
it's irreverent, but through the lens of a egomaniac.
right. Like at one point, Eric Wareheim's cop character is like pulls a gun on a lady and is like, "Show me your breasts."
Yes.
It's not funny,
No?
but I mean, it's not like a punchline joke.
Yes. I
Like,
see what you mean.
That is a horrible situation.
Yeah, but that woman does not care.
Right. And that's what makes it kind of a funny
Yes.
thing that a guy's putting a gun in your face and you're just like, no. Like, why?
Yeah.
But as a whole, it didn't super duper click for me.
Uh-huh.
Like, I thought it was good.
Hell yeah.
I am not going to be like, oh, I got to see everything else that this guy.
This is like Star Wars for me
No, it's nothing like Star
as
Wars.
wrong cops for you.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're comparing
Yeah.
a 2013 independent film about cops selling
Well, I'm
drug-filled
saying
rats.
how you feel about it. Where
And
you
at
come
one
back.
point, spoilers, Steve Little is in gay porn, and when his family finds out about it, he stabs himself in the neck
with a trowel.
with a trowel. You're comparing that to one of the most successful film
I'm
franchises
saying
of
how
all time.
you reacted to the movie is how
Okay.
I react to Star Wars now.
Man, you don't like Star Wars much.
I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm happy that people enjoy it, and it's great that it lives. I don't care about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was that made it not like. That's what's weird about it in my book is I can't put my finger on why it didn't click because it had all the. It's like if you're making like a, excuse me, like if you're making a soup and you put all good things in a soup, like all the stuff you like.
liked all the
It's got
ingredients.
onions, it's got garlic, it's got tomatoes, it's got all the good soup stuff in it. It's just a tomato soup, and you're like, this is going to be really good, but then you try it and you're just like, something's off. Like I don't know if something's missing.
Yeah.
Or like there's too much of something, but for some reason it just didn't. It wasn't just like that's good, but it had all the right ingredients in it. Like I said, people that I really enjoy, scenes that were legitimately funny to me. And then at the end, it's just like a weird funeral party,
Yeah.
and guys that are just too high to be there. And it's funny,
Yeah.
but it just I don't know what was missing. Like I cannot for the life of me express why this didn't click with me. And
Yeah, I
it should have.
tell you.
It should have. Like,
But-
and I 100% get why this is yours. Like,
Yeah.
watching it the whole time, I'm like, oh, obviously Jake likes this
Yes.
weird fucking movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, and the dad, Donna's dad from that 70s show is in one little scene where, like, there's a dead guy in his house.
Bob is...
Yeah,
He's-
Donna's dad from that 70s show.
Yeah, the first the only bit of police work that any of the cops do is a man is dead in this guy's apartment.
Right.
And he's like...
Yeah, he must have had my
I was
spare
out
key.
taking a walk, and this guy just walked into my apartment and shot himself.
Right.
And the cops are just
Eric
using his
Wareheim
bathroom.
has to go take a shit.
She she takes out a bowl of mozzarella from his fridge, and she's like, "How long has this been in there?" And he's like a week. And she takes a big bite out of it, and
Like
she
an
puts it
apple.
down, and she goes, "Try 3."
Right. Like I'm saying.
That's beautiful.
All the ingredients for this soup are in here, but for some reason I'm just like, God, I don't know what it is. And it's not a thing because it's not the cop setting, because I think cop things are funny. Reno 911, I think, is one of the funniest shows to ever be on television.
Right.
And it's, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
It was very weird.
It's a weird thing, and I think weirdness makes people uncomfortable.
And I don't dislike, like I said, when John LaJoie shows up in his outfit, it's a very noticeable outfit. And I was just like, oh, is it going to be like that? John LaJoie's here. Mm-hmm. Nice. Because I love all of he does weird fucking shit. And he also has a great band now called Wolfie's Just Fine. And it's like serious music. And he's very stupid talented. But he was in like The League and all of his YouTube stuff. Love him. Mm-hmm. Love Tim and Eric's awesome show. But for some reason, I'm just like, huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Don't like Marilyn Manson. His music or his personal shenanigans.
No.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. Which is weird because
Less Marilyn Manson in this movie would have been fine.
you should just swap him out with Nick
Nick
Swardson
Swardson would've been fine.
using AI.
Yeah.
Just on future.
That would have been
viewings.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What's Nick Swardson doing? You could probably pay him to just reshoot all those scenes.
I would love to take out problematic actors from all the movies and AI in actors that we all enjoy.
You wouldn't have any movies
That's
made
what I'm
before,
saying.
like...
All you'll have is Chris Pratt in every role again.
Aren't we getting there to this point?
We're trying.
Well, they tried to get
We're
mad
trying
at
to
him,
make
too.
technology work so that we can have Chris Pratt everywhere.
It'll be Chris Pratt, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock.
God's number one boy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy I saw this. I think it's fun. And
Nice.
like a disclaimer that we give to a lot of things, if you don't like this, I get it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't really like it, but I think it's available for free on Plex, which is a fun little service.
Yeah.
They have a Deal or No Deal channel, which I fucking love. After I watched this, I was doing some editing, and I was like, I'm going to watch like 2 episodes of Deal or No Deal while I do this.
Antiques Roadshow channel that I watch.
It's pretty great.
I love Antiques Roadshow.
I love Deal or No Deal.
I don't understand why people are so mad at the broker when he's giving you an offer of money.
Right.
Because it's like, it's his money. Of course he's going to be like, can we do a deal here?
Yeah.
And then you're like, if you mean it's not enough. You're like, okay.
Yeah, you just pointed at some numbers, and now that's not enough money.
Yeah.
Also, I've mentioned briefly, Patton Oswalt's got a new game show called The 1% Club.
Yeah.
It's a great game show. Great game show. There's 100 people, and the first thing is like, here's something that 90% of Americans know.
Yeah.
And if you get it right, and then you go down to the end. Jim Jeffries hosted the Australian version of it. It's perfect for a comedian like Patton Oswalt. He's just jovial enough. He's nice enough to people. He puts a little lighthearted jabs if you get it wrong. It's like, you didn't know that was Antarctica. And you're just like, Patton. Good for him.
Patton.
Get your fucking paycheck, man. Like, go for it.
He's
That's
wild.
available on Amazon to watch.
Oh.
So, yeah. Yeah, check out Wrong Cops. Check out Patton Oswalt. Let's get to my recommendation for Jake. 2023 film Theater Camp. So this was based on a short film written by Molly Gordon, Noah Galvin, and Nick Lieberman and Ben Platt. This is directed by Molly Gordon, Nick Lieberman, starring Ben Platt.
Oh.
Not a big name cast on this. It's a nice little indie film.
I didn't know Ben Platt was in this thing.
So yeah, Ben Platt I had only known previously from he was in the movie adaptation of Dear Evan Hansen.
Yes, he's big man on Broadway.
Yes, and that movie got the soundtrack for Dear Evan Hansen's great. I've never seen it live, but the soundtrack's fantastic. I saw Hugh Jackman sing some songs from Dear Evan Hansen when I saw Hugh Jackman live. He was doing his Song and Dance Man thing.
You saw Hugh Jackman live?
Yeah, he was in D.C. He did the Greatest Showman songs. He did some Les Miserables. He did some Dear Evan Hansen.
Man, that's wild.
Dude, Hugh Jackman's the shit. He even did he did like a Wolverine joke and did like the claws. And I was just like, there he is. It was great. Shut up. So anyway, that movie got kind of panned. So
Yeah, because I mean, he's supposed to be playing a high school kid.
and he's a man in his 30s.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was in this movie.
Wrote and he helped write the short film that this was based on too. So the premise of this is there's a theater camp up in the Adirondack Mountains. The theater camp's called the Adirondacks. That's very funny. And the theater camp's going through some trouble. The 2 women that run the camp are looking for stars, like kid stars, to get to their camp so they can try to get some more money. And they're like, oh, this kid's parents is rich, and they're on like a scouting trip. Has real Best in Show vibes and a little bit of, what was the movie? Shit, I'm blanking on this.
Pacific Rim.
Yes.
Where you had to control a robot with another person.
That's exactly what No, it's a mockumentary about beauty queens.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Drop Dead Gorgeous. A little bit Drop Dead Gorgeous
that
vibes.
movie.
That movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
And like very heavily Christopher Guest influence, a little bit Wet Hot American Summer too, about a theater camp.
Fly on the wall documentary style. They don't interview anybody. They just record everything that's going on.
Right.
Yes.
And the lady that owns the camp, she has a seizure because there's strobe lights.
Into a coma.
She goes into a coma, and then
strobe lights during Bye Bye Birdie.
Right. And
it's so funny.
And it's Amy Sedaris, which is funny because you're like, oh shit, Amy Sedaris
I
is in
was
this.
so
and then
happy watching, and it, like for 10 minutes, you're like, it's so good. She's so funny. This is great. She's in a coma.
Yeah. So her son, who's like a jock influencer guy, he's like, what up, fam?
Yeah,
he's like a business
guy.
influencer.
Yeah.
And he has to come and run the camp. And there are 2 people played by Ben Platt and Molly Gordon, Amos and Rebecca Diane, and they are like the king and queen of the camp. Like
they're
like
basically the
stars.
main teachers.
Right.
Yeah, one teaches music, the other one teaches acting.
Right, and they're like the counselors for the main counselors, and it kind of played that she had a crush on him, but he came out as gay.
Yeah.
But they're just best friends, and it's a love story between two people that aren't romantically.
It's a
in
platonic love.
Yeah. Right.
I
love stories like that.
You gotta love a story like that, right?
Right. And they're trying to they come up with their own musical every year. And this one's about the life of Amy Sedaris' character.
Joan Still.
Joan Still is the name of the musical. And it's just about
the life of a woman that's in a coma.
Right. So, there's great supporting characters. Like I said, Jimmy Tatro, who I only know previously. Jimmy Tatro was in... are you familiar with Bert Kreischer?
Am I familiar with Bert Kreischer?
Yes.
The Machine?
Yeah. So
no, who is that?
Did you see The Machine?
No, I'm not going to watch that movie.
It was fine. But Jimmy Tatro plays young Bert Kreischer when he is in Russia, like what The Machine story is based on.
Jimmy Tatro?
He's the
Troy?
the son. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a great mockumentary on Netflix called American Vandal.
Yes. Yeah, I saw it about drawing dicks on cars.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
and
very
he
funny.
was the one that was pinned on for drawing dicks on the cars.
Yeah, he plays
and a great series came out of that.
Yeah, he plays young Bert in The Machine, and he's great in this too.
He's great in this.
Stacked cast, just very funny people.
Ayo
Edebiri, she's plays someone that's taught in to teach a bunch of positions. They're like, oh, we had to hire all these teachers, didn't have the money. One person, and then you find out with her little chyron about her that she's lied on her resume. She has none of these skills, so she's just faking her way through like teaching kids stage combat and shit like that. And it's very fun, like mask work, all this pretentious.
She's definitely just shoved into this movie. She's
Right.
got nothing to do, but every time she's there, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's incredibly talented. Like we talked about her with what was the
We got Bottoms that we watched
and
The Bear. Where
Yeah, two
so
very
far
different-
she's just fantastic in everything that she's in.
And I think one of the standouts from this is Noah Galvin, who was another one of the writers of this. He plays the stage manager, Glenn.
He plays Glenn?
Yeah.
Yo, Glenn was a breakout
standout.
candidate.
So he's like the stage manager tech guy at the very beginning. He's just like in the shadows trying to help Troy because he's not on
He's
stage
a
at all.
tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the stage so Jake and I did theater in high school.
Yeah.
And a lot of these I guess kind of like archetypes, like the stage manager person who's just like very bashful, but like head in the clipboard, getting everything done, ending up doing most of the work.
Yeah.
While the performers are off doing nothing. Yeah. You just see those archetypes, and it's great. And so I recommended this to you because you had talked about you wanting to do, community theater and shit like that, just because it's just something that you used to do that
I
you
miss
wanted
acting,
to do.
yeah.
Yeah, in front of a live audience, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I know you like this style of movie, and it just summertime vibes. And I was like, oh, Jake probably wouldn't watch this unless I recommended it to him. So what'd you think of the thing?
Absolutely a 3.
It's a great movie, right?
It's a brilliant movie.
It's a great movie.
So good. It gets theater kids so well
Right.
that I was in love.
Yeah.
In both the silly ways and in the very intimate and beautiful ways where one thing where a kid comes up to Ben Platt, Amos, who Ben Platt is incredible in this movie.
Yeah, he was on
fantastic.
he was on Seth Meyers earlier this week singing one of his songs because he's on tour.
He's incredible talent.
Bananas good voice.
But a kid comes up to him being like, I need acting for this character. I want to develop this character. And he's like, all right, tell me your character's allergies. What? And he's like, we got a lot of work to do. And like from there, I'm like, I get that stuff. But then there's also a part where they're writing songs and the songs are bad. Like they're written bad. But the performance from the kid elevates the song and the stage based on that talent alone. That stuff is awesome to me. And everybody's just having fun. They point out that when you do a production with people, you should actually like really develop a pretty deep relationship with them. You
100%.
have like a nice big connection to them. That's a big thing that sticks out. And it's hilarious the entire time.
Yeah.
It's so funny. They go to Studio 54. They have a Studio 54 part in the Joan Still musical.
Right, about her drug days.
One of the lines is Debbie Harry in a wig. They follow a tasseled white line up the nostrils to represent cocaine.
Yeah.
There's just so much. And they take a song where Rebecca Diane fakes a song fast.
Right.
You know, to be like, I've been working on it. And it's a stupid, funny song, a girl drinking Snapple, a kid with his head down. And they turned it into an actual beautiful song.
Right.
Where it's just a bunch of people who are very talented, making great music, singing very well on a beautiful stage with just so much emotion bubbling up because, man, do you care about what's going on?
Right. And another thing about it is the kids in this, they're good.
Yeah.
It's not obnoxious.
They're theater kids. And the best thing is theater kids know that they're weird.
Right.
You know, that they don't fit in. That's a big thing is you feel like you don't fit in, and then you see other theater kids, and you're like, oh, I do fit in. I'm fine. I am fine.
The way the kids were kind of portrayed in this, the campers, the closest thing I would call it was sort of like School of Rock, where it's like, yeah, they're, you know, of course, all these actors, they're theater kids. That's why they're acting in a movie. But when you kind of get the kid to actually do that, it's like the most natural thing instead of like a child. And not shitting on child actors. Like, I don't think any of you should be acting because I think it's not great for most of them.
Stage acting should be for kids. Stage acting.
Yeah.
It's fun. It should be fun.
But I'm just saying, like, most of like Hollywood kids, it doesn't end great for a lot. Best case scenario, you're not famous, and then you don't end up like Jake Lloyd and have everybody hate you. And
Yeah, poor guy.
yeah. Regardless, I think it's great in this because they get to be weird theater kids, and it comes off very naturally. You're like not in an episode of Law and Order recounting to Stabler horrible things that happened to you.
A bunch of kids having a bunch of fun. There's a part where Troy tries to use the place as like a dining hall,
right,
and have the kids serve, and the kids were like, we'll take this as an acting opportunity to develop our characters. But they can't just have subtle characters, they have to be the big star. So they come out being like, could I offer you a role, or would you like to hear about the sad story of my daughter's death? And it's like, I totally understand these, and because you can see it on her face that she's like, I came up with a great story. You're going to want to hear this.
Right.
And it just, all these feelings just come bubbling back.
Yeah.
The acting is so much fun.
And a lot of this movie was improvised, too.
Yeah.
Which is just makes, I think, one of when they're casting, the counselors are casting the musicals because they do a couple different musicals. And they're just discussing like a second grade girl. And it's like, oh, well, she sang "I Dreamed a Dream," and then someone else just goes, "Yeah, I totally bought her as a French prostitute." And it's like, dude, but that's like such a theater person.
They go, yeah, what? Hey, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, a French sex worker." Yeah, that's better.
Exactly. The issue wasn't referring to a child as a prostitute. It was
they're like, I know they're all virgins, but I think Rebecca is the most virgin. She should be
absurd, very funny, and that's where I got the vibes of more like along the lines of Wet Hot American Summer, where it's just not only just the camp setting, but just that level of improvisation where it's just like, we're gonna do a bunch of takes and we're gonna edit together something that's very, very funny,
very, very funny.
Yeah,
having the reveal of the plays that they're gonna do at the beginning be a musical that they also wrote to do it is too much fun. I was having so much fun.
And it's a quick movie too. It's like an hour and a half. It's a great watch. It's available to watch on Hulu.
Yeah.
I think if you've got time and you have
I can't recommend it enough. If you know anybody that's weird, that's in the theater. If you know me, you're going to like this movie. You're going to be like, that's a lot. That's a lot of him.
And what I like
that.
about Troy's character, or the character Troy, is if you're not a theater person, he's not a theater person, but he's like your look into this on like, he's the guy that's just like, these people are fucking weird.
We didn't even bring up that Patty Harrison's in this damn flick.
Yeah.
And she's just wonderful in it as well.
Uh-huh.
So that was busting last night. This stuff is so funny because a thing about being in theater is you elaborate more, or you're very boastful and jestful. And they get it to a T. It's just kids having so much fun.
Yeah.
That's got to be the best part is a lot of these kids are wickedly talented. There's tap in this, they're singing, and they are just on a completely different level. That's fun to see too. Yeah. But they're also having a great time. You can tell that they love doing a small Bye Bye Birdie.
Right.
Just nailing it.
Giving some lady a seizure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it spoke to me because, like, when I was the summer between, I think it was summer between 10th and 11th grade, I actually went to a theater camp in the Adirondacks. And
I did not know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And you got to, like, do monologues and stuff like that, and you learn, like, we did, like, Tai Chi and shit like that, and there was, like, a stand-up comedy class you could take.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was spot on to this is what it was.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
It's just a lot of big personalities.
Yeah.
And you'd think it clash, but it really doesn't. No. Everybody really cares about each other, and it's so wild.
And it's got a lot of heart, too.
Yeah.
I mean... Not to belittle your pick anymore, but maybe it's because I watched these movies so close in succession, and this movie had a lot of heart and a lot of feeling. Yeah. And Wrong Cops, as funny as it was, the whole point of it being funny is it had no heart, no emotional development of the characters or anything like that. It was just these are just funny situations, and I think this type of comedy really speaks to me more. Even though other movies that we've talked about, like the fucking Please Don't Destroy movie, was probably more similar in structure to Wrong Cops, where it was just a bunch of different funny situations in a row.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm really glad you like this, because I was like,
this movie
I hadn't heard anybody really talk about this movie.
Yeah. I never heard of it.
I remember when it came out, knowing it from the Jimmy Tatro talking about it when he was doing interviews for The Machine. He was doing, like, the podcast rounds when that movie was coming out. They tried to make that movie work. It didn't. But Mark Hamill was in it, too. That was...
Meh.
I know you don't like things.
Care about Star Wars.
I was going more the Joker. That's why you'd like him. But all right, bring it back to Star Wars. And
why would I bring it back to Star Wars about Mark Hamill?
I don't know. Is it the lightsaber that's over there, or the Toyota that's in that tree behind you in the studio?
Man, you don't want to talk about my Toyota in a tree. Let me tell you, that's a completely different situation.
You don't even have a Toyota.
It's because it's in a tree.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My Toyota's in the parking lot. 2020 CHR.
RAV4. It's so much connectivity in that bad boy.
God, that was a funny bit.
So many USB connectors in that bad boy.
All right. So, yeah, that's a 3.
That's a 3. It's,
check it out. Available to watch on Hulu.
Highly advised watching it.
So thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to get in contact with the show, you can write us to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Please subscribe on the YouTube. As of recording, we broke 4,700. So
nice.
We'll take it. Maybe this time next week we'll have a big 5K celebration.
We're going to be big.
Yeah. We're going to be
10,000 followers.
We're going to be fine.
Like and subscribe.
Do all that stuff. Follow us on TikTok at upyouralleypod. Instagram is the same thing. You can send us a message on Instagram as well. Thank you to Brother Bill for letting us use our theme song. You can find their music on Bandcamp. And thanks to Jimmy for doing all of our logos and I guess thumbnails and whatnot. All the artwork
art design.
That he does. Yeah, he's our art designer. So let's find out what we're going to be talking about next week, because Jake, I have 3 recommendations for you. But I don't know which one I want to do. It's going to be based on what you pick.
Well, we're sticking with weird on me.
Oh boy.
But this came out recent, and I mean really recent. I'm pretty sure it just showed up on Spotify either today or yesterday. It showed up on my YouTube like a week ago, and I just on a lark decided to try and listen to it. It's an album from a band called Cheese Industries.
What?
With their first album called There Are Days. Let me give you some of these song titles here.
Wait,
right?
Cheese Industries.
Cheese Industries. From Filthy and Diseased Music Records.
Jesus Christ, Jake.
They have songs called Pissy Shitties, PCP Yacht, Antifreeze is Not Good Food, Rhythm of the Baseball is a really good song, and I think the hit on this album will be The McRib is Back in Town. So please give Cheese Industries There Are Days a listen.
The image at the top of Spotify has Al Pacino in
their first single, which is called
it's Al Pacino and Jack and Jill, and it's old Captain America.
Yeah. Look at the name of their first single of their first EP. Did you see the title of it?
Watch Full HD Movies and TV Shows?
Yeah, Watch Full HD Movies and TV Shows is their first
All right.
Single.
So
they showed up out of nowhere, and I was just like, I got an hour. I want to listen to some music, so I listened to it. I'm like, this stuff is funny and it's weird, and they're very talented. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about these guys.
All right, I'm gonna let you pick. Well, one of my suggestions is out. I'm gonna have to save it for the week afterwards because it's another music thing, and we're not gonna do that. So you get to pick between another comedy or documentary.
Let's do a documentary.
Okay, good, because the comedy doesn't come out on Netflix until tomorrow, so it'd be a shot in the dark if it's good or not, because I haven't watched it yet either. Huh. I hope it's good. Documentary now available on...
Yeah, there's going to be a movie coming up in your life that I want to watch, and this will force me to watch it, too.
Yeah?
And I think it's going to be good. Only based on one factor. And we'll find out together, though.
Fun. This is a documentary. It's available to stream on Max. It's something that is very pertinent to you and I because it's something we lived through, Jacob. We lived this.
9/11? That was me and you, man.
9/11 was not you and me.
You didn't forget. I didn't forget.
I never forgot, but when you say 9/11, that was you and me.
That was you and me, bud.
This is what's going to get us demonetized.
Why?
Again. Because you said 9/11 was you and me.
Yeah, we lived through it, man.
Right, but you can't say it was you and me.
I don't know what
Do
you're
you
talking
understand
about.
that?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Good.
Me and you and 9/11, brother.
You and me and 9/11 makes 3.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh God, I'll edit that out. This is where I'm gonna. That's where I'm gonna edit in me talking about the goat,
I don't have a burp, so
and then we're just gonna edit out all the 9/11. So now listeners get to listen back. Did I talk about the goat? Did I leave in anything about 9/11? We'll find out together. No, it's a documentary on Max. It's called Movie Pass Movie Crash. It's all about the rise and fall of Movie Pass.
Well,
which
I
is
can
something
tell you the reason that happened.
Well, it's because people like you. Do you remember having? We could talk about it next week, but we had the Movie Pass card.
It was like $10 a month to see as many movies as you want.
So this documentary is on Netflix. It was one movie a day. It's not as many movies as you want, but it's all about kind of how venture capital got involved in it and put money into it, and it was a lot more criminal. Then it wasn't just like this was a bad business idea.
Man,
there were crimes.
Those were a solid couple of months, though, man.
We saw some dumb shit on Movie Pass.
That was so much fun going to see terrible movies in theaters.
Why? Because we have nothing else to do.
Because we had time and it was free.
Yeah. So that's available on Max, Movie Pass, Movie Crash. Just a one-part documentary. It's like an hour and a half. Nice boom, boom, boom documentary.
I actually look forward to that.
I'm going to listen to These Are Days by Cheese Industries.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks again, like I said, to Brother Bill. Thanks to Jimmy for doing the artwork. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, brother.
Love you, buddy.
Bye.